Greetings, my friends. It is I, Dr. Jimmy, and this is Tuesday, October 3rd. You can tell it's Tuesday because I'm here in the dark at home. If it was another day like Wednesday, for example, I'd be somewhere else in the spooky dark. But Tuesdays are a night in which the only place to be is back at home because there's no horror nights tonight. Not on any Tuesday of this year. But a lot of Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Speaking of which, I have made house cocktails and completed them for you, and now it's time to do the first scare zone cocktail for the first scare zone, the Harvest. I must say the Harvest is an underrated and underappreciated scare zone. You don't hear a lot about it on the Twitter or the Horror Nights Facebook groups or other places where fans congregate on the internet. The flashier, bigger, more exciting scare zones they like to talk about, like Chucky and Vamp 85, ooh, pointy teeth. And they like to talk about those killer clowns from outer space. I understand that. And of course, twisted tradition as well. I understand that. I appreciate that. However, the Harvest is a very important scare zone. You see, most people, when they go into Universal Studios Florida for Halloween Horror Nights, they don't get there right before 6 p.m. and wait for the gates to open. A lot of people do, but most of the guests that arrive have arrived later, and they don't go off to the right or to the left. They go right down the middle, and the first thing they will encounter is the Harvest. For most of the guests coming into the park every night, the very first scare actors they will ever encounter are those in the Harvest. The first line of offense, basically. Absolutely, they have a burden to carry. The first impression, the first scare that you might get right there. And I think they do a pretty amazing job. Yes, there's creepy pumpkin-facey creatures and hooded creatures and those glorious stilt walkers and, of course, the little gillies with their outfits. I love them all. And they do an amazing job, literally sometimes bending over backwards to scare people. So let's hear it for the Harvest, and I'm going to make the first zone cocktail for you. But first, you've probably been wondering about this. This is a lovely t-shirt they sell at the event for, yes, sorority sacrifice. It's sold in a place where they print them up for you. Their Slaughter Cinema, the haunted house at Horror Nights this year, with all those bizarre movies that don't exist anywhere except Cary, Ohio. And that's one of the films, Sorority Sacrifice. And they 6 different designs for t-shirts, so you can get them there. I've got all of them myself. Bloody hell, I didn't bring my spoon. I knew I forgot something. Once again, I have to depart and come right back. I don't have any way of editing it. I have to come right back. An empty, dead screen right now. All right, here we are, back. All right, so let's get on with it. I had to consider quite a bit what would be just right for this, and I tried different things. But then I snapped on an idea using an ingredient located mere feet away from the Harvest itself. Yes, I have in this little glass a sliver. Who's coming in? Jesus Christ. Don't do that, Lenny. Either in or out. Oh, don't need that. Interruptions. I don't have time to make 3 or 4 takes of this video because there's things happening at 8 o'clock and it's 7:40. I want to get it done quickly. Anyway, otherwise I'll just have to scrap the whole freaking thing and start over again. Anyway, here I have a sliver, something orange you might notice. What the freak is that? Well, what it is a slice, a very thin slice of fudge, specifically the seasonal pumpkin pie fudge sold at the sweet shop located when you first go into Universal Studios Florida, directly to your left. Yes, just before the Universal Studios shop in the same building. On the other side they have some sort of photo pickup thing. Then if you cross on one side the road that goes off to Hollywood Boulevard, on the other side is that little street that runs back to what used to be the Nickelodeon and now it goes toward a gate that could take you to Blue Man Group, which isn't open during horror nights. But if you go past that, then start of the scare zone right there by Despicable Me on one side and Shrek on the other. There's no entrance to a haunted house this time. Last year, of course, they had the entrance to, I think, American Horror Story right there. But this time there's no haunted house entrance right in that area. So here's what we're doing. I put the sliver, just a sliver, of the seasonal pumpkin pie fudge into this. To that I add bitters. This is the Bitter Truth Jerry Thomas bitters, which is actually a bit of a clove flavour. Yes, very clearly marked by a clove. So I'll put quite a few drops of that, not just a little bit. Somehow I splashed, but I want to make sure there's that. And not only that, I'm going to put a little bit of this liqueur, which I think I've used in videos here before, Domaine de Canton, which is a French ginger liqueur, originally from Southeast Asia. French Indochina, which of course is today Vietnam, but now just a little bit of that as well. So we've got some clove and ginger and other spice flavors added to what is already a pumpkin spice fudge, and then we muddle it. So what we do is we chop it up with a spoon, and then we chop it up and stir it and stir it and stir it and stir it to melt that fudge up. And you have to be rather aggressive with it. It's going to take a bit of time. Smash it against the edges of the glass if you have to, and continue until it dissolves into the liquid. You see, I'm still going at it quite a bit there on the spoon. So I do stuff like this and smash it up in there and smash it back. I splash myself and then I smash it back in. I continue to stir it up, trying to get as much of the fudge into That's why you only use a very thin slice, not a big, huge hunk of fudge, because that would not melt easily. It's starting to get that. So I continue to smash it in again. It's like a paste almost, and of course you get it stuck on the back of the spoon or the front of the spoon and push it back in. And smash it again and smash it and smash it and get more liquid in and around it. And continue until you end up with most or all of it thoroughly mixed and dissolved into the liquid. Now, if you use too much of the fudge, it might not fully dissolve, but hopefully it'll work. Until you get something like this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a liquid here, sort of thick brownish colour. Alright, once that's done, the harvest is set in a barn, a very rural concept, along with all the pumpkin-y type creatures lurking around, and the various set pieces that advertise all the IP houses for the benefit of stupid people who don't have brochures, and therefore they wouldn't know what houses are at the event, and so they come in, where are we going? I don't know. And they look around and they see, oh, there's Stranger Things. Oh, over there it says Poltergeist, and that says Michael Myers and Halloween. So I just poured some of the I've used this before too. This is Southern Shine Moonshine, and that would be very appropriate for the outback woods barn with its weird artifacts and the creepy creatures that give it a bit of a rural, more countryside, primitive, whatever you want to call it. And what we'll do is I get this little glass of ice, and then I pour that mixture into it out of this other bottle. Here it is. So that's the fudge that has now been dissolved in the bitters and the ginger liqueur, and to that I have the moonshine, just about a shot glass worth, and then I stir it up again, a little tiny bit of undissolved fudge floating on top, and then stir it up with my spoon, stirring it carefully, and here you go. This is what you get. And this is my harvest cocktail, which is quite good. Yes, rather powerful at first, but the flavours do go well together. Because with the fudge, the pumpkin pie fudge, and with the spice of the bitters, and which it's a variety of different things that go into this, but this clove notes are very strong, and then of course the Domaine de Canton ginger liqueur, and so you have all of that flavour, so it comes out with a very definite pumpkin spice flavour, but better than what they have at Starbucks. And you have a lovely cocktail to enjoy for the harvest. And that is my first Scare Zone cocktail for Halloween Horror Nights 28. Now, keep an eye on the time. Good, I have at least 10 minutes before I have to run off. So, at some point I'll be continuing my history of Halloween Horror Nights 25, which of course was going on about 3 years ago exactly, in 2015, and I plan to make a video where I give some appreciation and recognition to many of the wonderful scare actors that are currently performing at Halloween Horror Nights 28. Of course, I did that a bit in this video, and I applauded the wonderful scare actors of the Harvest who do such a marvellous job every night. But I might do a separate video just to applaud all sorts of scare actors that are doing marvellously this year, in special regard. And I will, of course, continue these cocktail videos as we have more scare zones to cover. And I'm not entirely certain which one's next. It might be the Revenge of Chucky. Not quite sure what I'd make for that. There's that easy bake oven that has some crispy burnt cookie human, and of course the monkeys are there and they might go bananas, so I might have that sort of ingredient, but I haven't quite figured it out. And of course Chucky himself, what would epitomize an evil doll in a cocktail? And then of course we have Vamp 85. One thinks of some sort of tomato juice Bloody Mary-like affair, except of course it's New Year's Eve. That would be champagne with tomato juice. Ew, that wouldn't work. Maybe something else red that would go with champagne, like pomegranate or cranberry. What about the 1980s angle? I'll have to give that a look. Have to figure that out. Killer clowns, all sorts of possibilities. Something with candy floss or ice cream. And then, of course, Twisted Tradition will have something similar in flavour to this, because, of course, it's all about pumpkins, but more rotting on the vine. So what could that be? Anyway, just do a few more minutes. Good. So, I'm not entirely certain. I'll have to come up with an idea for that. I actually thought about Twisted Tradition doing another pumpkin ale bomb shot. In this case, Jägermeister dropped into the pumpkin ale. That might actually work for that, and might even do that on location then in Twisted Tradition. That's exactly the sort of beverage some of the kids that are running around the church might have come up with. You know, the silly kids who opened the wrong door or unleashed whatever they, just like Cabin in the Woods. They read the Latin, I guess. Silly kids. You know, the Cary, Ohio Scooby Gang, basically. But that's another story for another day. And this cocktail is now done. Literally drank down. So that's this first cocktail video for Scare Zones this year. And so until next time, I give you my greatest regards, and have a wonderful time, and maybe I'll see you out in the spooky dark.